advice is that whatever you know, whatever it is you do, apply it entrepreneurially. There will never be a greater reward. Create your own job, create jobs for others, and government does have a role in all of this. Government can make that easier, not harder, and right now, the government does work to make that just about as difficult as it possibly can be. I really think that the model of the future, which is incredibly exciting, is the sharing economy. It's Airbnb. It's the ability to... It's Airbnb. It's Uber. I think it's Uber everything. It's Uber electrician. It's Uber plumber. It's Uber doctor. It's eliminating the middleman, allowing for you as the provider of goods and services to directly give them to the end user. End user pays less, you make more. I just think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with regard to where this is going to go. And government can play a role in this, making it just easier for that to happen as opposed to making it harder. So what Bill Weld and I are going to bring to the table more than anything else is just certainty. Certainty that taxes are not going to go up. Certainty that when approached or when given tax reduction, we'll always sign off on tax reduction. Certainty that when it comes to rules and regulations and your and my ability to live our lives more simply, in compliance, of course, with being good human beings, that we'll be able to do that. So there are... So there are three scenarios. I mean, there are three outcomes in this election right now. One is that Trump gets elected. One is that Hillary gets elected. And if either one of them are elected, does anybody believe that the polarity that exists in Congress today is going to get any better? No. No. It's going to be worse than ever. Scenario 3, Bill Weld and I, libertarians, get elected. Bipartisan administration. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, everybody will be libertarian-leaning, but calling out to both sides to come to the middle and deal with the issues that we're facing in this country. I think that that third scenario is the only scenario that even has the remotest possibility of succeeding. But actually, I think it goes beyond remote. I think it does have a chance of succeeding in a really big way and changing the course of this country moving forward. Libertarians, common sense, you know, keep government out of my pocketbook, keep government out of my bedroom. A pledge on both Bill and my part to submit a balanced budget to Congress. Now, balanced budget, that's about future generations. That's about your kids. That's about their kids. If we don't balance the budget, what? We're going to get it all, but you've got to pay for it all? That's not fair at all. So reforming the entitlements, Medicaid, Medicare, these are going to be tough issues, but neither Trump nor Clinton are saying that we should even deal with them, and Hillary is saying that we should expand them. Look, the outcome of that is going to be that it's not going to be available for anyone. And then Social Security. Look, we can save Social Security, but there are some reforms that have to happen within Social Security, and to do nothing is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to do nothing. Immigration is something to be embraced. We are a country of immigrants. Make it as easy as possible to come into this country and work as possible. So issue work visas. The main reason why there are 11 million undocumented workers in this country is because you can't get a work visa from the government, and yet jobs do exist that U.S. citizens don't want. Embracing immigration, recognizing it for what it is, We are a country of immigrants, and that by allowing for immigration, we will grow our economy. Building a fence across the border is just nuts. It's nuts. And you know, Donald Trump was watching the Olympics intently to see how high the Mexican pole vaulters could go. Believing in free markets. Crony capitalism is something we should all despise. Crony capitalism is really where government decides winners and losers. You pay to win, you don't pay, you pay to play. You don't pay, you don't win. Well, it shouldn't be like that. It should be free markets. It should be equal opportunity. Equal opportunity for everybody. I support, Bill Weld supports, I think we all absolutely have to support term limits. Look, term limits is a silver bullet. If we had term limits, politicians would do the right thing as opposed to whatever it takes to get reelected. We would not have a $20 trillion debt today if term limits were in effect. Jobs, certainty that taxes are not going to go up. Neither Bill Weld or I raised a single penny of tax over the 2 terms that we each served. Believing in free markets, believing that when it comes to health care, and I do agree with Chief Justice Roberts that health care, President Obama's Affordable Health Care Act is a tax. My insurance premiums have quadrupled. I haven't been to see a doctor in 3 years. It is a tax. When it comes to health care reform, what do we need? Well, we need a government really that's going to blow the lid off of the services that health care might provide. Make it easier to provide front end. Let's deal with instead of dealing with the problem after it's all ended with, let's talk about health and diet and exercise so that it doesn't happen at the back end. Believing in personal choice, always coming down on the side of personal choice, that each and every one of us should be able to make decisions in our own lives that only affect our own lives as long as those decisions don't put other people in harm's way. So believing in marriage equality, whom you might love, whom you might marry. Abortion. How can there be a more difficult choice in anyone's life, and by anyone, the woman involved? But who but the woman involved should be making that choice other than the woman involved? The woman involved. Legalizing marijuana, bringing an end to the drug war. We have the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world. I refuse to believe that we are any less law-abiding in this country than any other country in the world. We have tens of millions of Americans who are convicted felons that but for our drug laws would otherwise be tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. If I may, all lives matter, okay? But black lives matter, and here's why. Blacks are being shot at the rate of 6 times that if you're white. If you are of color and you are arrested on drug-related crime, there's a 4 times more likelihood that you will go to prison than if you are white. So we've had our heads in the sand over the discrimination that continues to exist in this country. And I'm the first one. Believing in the Second Amendment to the Constitution. But also recognizing that we should have a debate and a discussion on how we might keep guns out of the hands of the mentally ill. Being open to a debate and a discussion on how we might keep guns out of the hands of would-be terrorists. Recognizing what happened in Orlando, and as President of the United States, I would love to know what transpired between the FBI and the fact that they did interview the shooter in Orlando on a couple of occasions. I'll bet they have the best ideas of anyone on how to move forward. Obviously, the system worked up to a certain point, but then it broke down. Death penalty, as governor of New Mexico, this was an issue that I reversed myself on. Look, I believe in an eye for an eye, but as public policy, the death penalty is flawed because arguably, there's a 4% error rate when it comes to the death penalty. And I don't want to put one innocent person to death to punish 999 that are guilty, much less put to death 4 people for 96 that are guilty. If you will remember, in the mid-90s, Governor Ryan of Illinois ordered a review of 36 inmates on death row because of DNA testing or DNA that was going to be able to be tested, and over 20 of them were released because they were categorically proven to be innocent. The death penalty, although it sounds great, is flawed public policy. It costs less to lock somebody up for the rest of their lives than it does to put them on death row because of the appeals involved. But then when you find out that someone gets released because they are categorically innocent, what price do you put on that? And that is America. That is the United States of America. That is the Constitution of the United States of America.